Capricorn, Capricorn, say this once, and they'll disappear without warning. There is one phrase, just one phrase, that can make a Capricorn disappear from your life forever. There will be no shouting. There will be no drama. There will be no second chance. Just silence. A silence so profound that you will feel the weight of their absence like a mountain collapsing on your chest. Because Capricorns don't leave by slamming the door. Capricorns simply evaporate like mist at dawn. And when you realize they're gone, it will be too late. But what is this phrase? What can you say, perhaps without realizing it, that triggers the self-destruct mechanism in a relationship with a Capricorn? In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 brutal truths about the heart of a Capricorn. 5 reasons why they can simply disappear without warning. And if you've experienced this, or if you are a Capricorn, prepare to recognize yourself in every word. So subscribe to the channel now, turn on notifications, and leave a like, because this journey will touch places in your soul that you may have forgotten exist. Let's begin. Reason number 1. You underestimated their strength. Capricorn is the mountain. Not that touristy mountain full of marked trails and signs. No, Capricorn is Everest. It's K2. It's that solitary peak where the air is thin, where few dare to climb, and where every step is a battle against the gravity of existence itself. They learned early on that the world has no mercy on the weak, that no one will save them, that if they fall, they will fall alone, and no one will be there to break their fall. So they built fortresses, walls of stone and ice around their hearts, not out of coldness, not out of arrogance, for survival. But here's the truth that few understand. Every mountain wants to be climbed. Deep down, every Capricorn dreams of someone brave enough to climb up to them. Someone who won't give up at the first sign of trouble. Someone who can see beyond the cold rock and realize that, at the very top, there's a beating heart, vulnerable, lonely, waiting. And then you appeared. Perhaps they opened the door. Perhaps they let you see a glimpse of what they're hiding. Perhaps they trusted you. But then, you said something. Something that sounded like, you are too strong. You don't need anyone. You always manage everything on your own. And, at that moment, Capricorn understood. You didn't come to stay. You came to admire the view. You didn't come here to share the burden. You came here to lean on them as long as it was convenient. Because, look, when you tell a Capricorn that they are too strong, what they hear is, I won't be here when you need me. Because I've already decided that you don't need anyone. And that destroys them silently. Because the truth is that Capricorn doesn't want to be strong. They are strong. They carry the world because no one else volunteered to carry it with them. But deep down, in the very core of their souls, there is a silent plea. Please see that I'm tired. See that I also want to rest. See that behind this armor, there's someone who just wants to be hugged without having to ask. But you didn't see it. And when Capricorn realizes you won't see it, that you prefer the convenience of their stronghold to real vulnerability, they do what they know best. They disappear. Without warning. Without explanation. Because explaining would be admitting that they expected more from you. And Capricorn hates admitting that they expected something. So they return to the mountain. Alone. Where they've always been. Where perhaps they always will be. And you? You stay down there, looking up, wondering why they disappeared. The answer is simple. You left them alone before you even left. Reason number 2. You touched on a wound they never show. Capricorn has a secret so deep, so buried, that sometimes even they themselves don't admit it exists. They are terrified of failing. Not failing at a project. Not failing at a test. Not failing at a business deal. They are afraid of failing, that ASA person. Of not being good enough. Of not being worthy enough. Of not deserving the love, the respect, the admiration they fought so hard to earn. Capricorn is the sign of ambition. Yes. But do you know where that ambition comes from? From the fear of being forgotten. From the fear of not mattering. They build empires not out of greed, but out of necessity to test for themselves, for the world, for the universe, that they have value, that they matter, that they deservito be here. And then you arrive. And you, perhaps without realizing it, say something like, "You're obsessed with work. You never have time. You care more about success than about people." And at that moment, Capricorn's world crumbles. Because what you just said, translated into their emotional language, was, "You are not enough. All your effort is worthless. You are failing at the only thing that matters, being loved." And Capricorn doesn't know how to answer that. Because they don't know how to be different. They don't know how to turn off the internal engine that drives them to build, conquer, prove. They learn from childhood that love is conditional. You are only loved if you are useful, if you are strong, if you deliver results. So they work, they climb, they conquer, not because they want to, but because they believe that if they stop, you're leaving. And do you know what's most tragic? When they stop, you really leave. Not physically, perhaps, but emotionally. You distance yourself. You complain. You compare. You do exactly what they always feared. And Capricorn notices. They won't confront you. They won't beg. They won't cry. They're just going to disappear. Because in the cold, painful calculation of their minds, the conclusion is clear. If I'm not enough the way I am, then why keep trying? And so in silence, they close the door. They block your number. They delete your photos. They rewrite history as if you never existed. Not out of anger, for self-preservation. Because Capricorns know that if they stay, they will destroy themselves trying to be someone they are not. Trying to fill a void that is not their responsibility to fill. So they choose solitude. Because solitude, for Capricorn, is familiar. Solitude is safe. Loneliness doesn't disappoint. Reason number 3. You proved it wasn't real. Capricorns don't waste time. They have no patience for games. They have no energy for masks. They have no space in their lives for shallow people. When Capricorn chooses you, and believe me, it's a conscious choice, they are making an investment. An emotional investment. Temporal. Existential. They are saying, without words, "I trust that you're worth it. I trust that you're real." But then, you start to show who you really are. You cancel plans at the last minute. You make lame excuses. You disappear when they need you. You talk a lot, but do little. And Capricorn observes. Silently. Cataloging every inconsistency. Every broken promise. Every word that didn't translate into action. They won't confront you. Not immediately. Because Capricorn believes in give chances, they believe in second chances. They know that people are imperfect. But there is a line. An invisible line, but absolutely concrete. And when you cross that line, when Capricorn realizes that you are superficial, that you lack depth, that you're just a facade without substance, he finished. There will be no discussion. There will be no fighting. There will be no drama. Just one glacial silence. You're going to send a message. They're not going to reply. You're going to call. It's going to go to voicemail. You'll try to explain yourself. And they'll listen politely, perhaps, but with lifeless eyes. Eyes that have already made up their minds. Because for Capricorn, trust is everything. And once broken, it cannot be rebuilt. Not because they are resentful. Not because they are incapable of forgiving. But because they learned, in the most painful way possible, that people don't change. What patterns repeat themselves? What cheap words? What empty promises? And Capricorn doesn't build their life on sand. Then they remove it. Completely. Surgically. You become a memory. A miscalculation. A page they tear from a book and throw into the fire. And you? You're left wondering what happened. What happened was simple. You weren't real. And Capricorn has no room for illusions. And you? Have you ever felt that? Have you ever seen a Capricorn disappear from your life without explanation? Or are you a Capricorn and recognized yourself in that silent pain? Leave a comment below. Have you ever been the mountain that nobody wanted to climb? Have you ever carried alone the weight that should have been shared? Leave a comment below. I read them all. And I'm sure you're not alone in this. Now, let's move on to reason number 4. Reason number 4. You ignored the signs that they will never repeat. Capricorn is not dramatic. They don't make scenes. They don't shout. They don't break dishes. They fall silent. But here's what you need to understand. Capricorn's silence isn't empty. It's deafening. It's a compressed scream. A bottled-up storm. An earthquake happening kilometers below the surface. And when Capricorn starts to become silent with you, when the answers become short, when the eyes become distant, when their presence seems to be millions of light years away, pay attention, because this is the last chance. Capricorn has already tried, has already given signals, has already waited for you to notice. They left clues. Small, subtle, almost invisible, but they were there. A phrase thrown to the wind. Sometimes I feel like I'm alone in this. A look that lingered a second longer, filled with a sadness you ignored. A silence followed a question that deserved a genuine answer. Capricorns won't beg for your attention. They won't pretend everything's okay when it's falling apart. They'll just to move away, little by little, gradually, like the tide receding before a tsunami. And you? You probably didn't even notice, because you were busy, distracted, focused on yourself. And when she finally realizes it, when she finally feels their absence like a black hole sucking all the light from her life, it's too late, because Capricorn has already made the decision. And Capricorn decisions are irrevocable. They don't back down, not because they're stubborn, but because when they decide, months, maybe years, have already passed since they pondered, analyzed, and gave a chance. And when the final hammer falls, there is no appeal. You can send 1,000 messages. You can show up at their door. You can beg, cry, promise change. And Capricorn will listen to you, perhaps, with that cold and polite manners that hurt more than any shouting. But their eyes will tell you the truth. You had your chance, and you wasted it. Because Capricorns don't believe in words. They believe in actions, and their actions have already said it all. Then they close the door, and lock it, and throw the key into an abyss, so deep that not even they can reach it anymore. And you're left outside, knocking on a door that will never open again. Because the silence of Capricorn, when it arrives, is eternal. Reason number 5. You made them believe that loneliness is safer than love. This is the most brutal truth of all. The reason Capricorns disappear without warning isn't because they hate you. That's because they learned how to protect themselves. Capricorn was born old, born tired, born with the weight of the world already tattooed on their soul. They learned too early that people disappoint, promises get broken. Love, however beautiful it may seem, always comes with an expiration date. So they built a fortress. And they learned to live in it, alone. And it's not a sad kind of loneliness, you know? It's a dignified solitude. It's the kind of loneliness that says, I prefer my own company to crumbs of affection. I prefer silence to empty words. I prefer being alone to being in bad company. And then you arrived. And for a moment, a brief and dangerous moment, Capricorn believed. He believed that maybe, just maybe, you were different. That you would stay, that you would see, that you would go to choose. They chose you in the same way they did. But you didn't choose. You showed up when it was convenient. You paid attention when you had spare time. You loved in the leftovers, on the fringes, in the intervals of your busy life. And Capricorn noticed. You didn't come here to add. You came here to subtract. You didn't come here to build together. You came here to support each other while it was useful. And at that moment, something broke inside Capricorn. Not in an explosive way. Not with drama. It's like when a microscopic crack forms in a dam. You don't even notice it. Until one day, without warning, everything is falling apart. And Capricorn, with that cold and calculating lucidity that defines them, does the math. This person is going to hurt me. Sooner or later, they're going to disappoint me. They're going to abandon me. Just like all the others did. So why wait? Why expose myself? Why break myself again? And the answer is simple. It's not worth it. Then Capricorn disappears. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much and they can't afford to care about someone who won't reciprocate. They return to the mountain, to the fortress, to the solitude that never betrayed them. Because for Capricorn, loneliness is predictable. It's controllable. It is safe. Loneliness doesn't promise much and then disappears. Loneliness doesn't look you in the eye and lies. Loneliness doesn't make you believe in something beautiful and then take everything away from you. Loneliness is honest. Capricorn prefers the brutal honesty of solitude to the comforting lie of a love that isn't real. Then they disappear, and you never see them again, and they continue, alone, strong, whole, but deep down in a part of the soul, so hidden that even they themselves don't visit it. There is a scar, invisible, eternal, a scar that says, I tried, and it wasn't enough, so I'm never going to try again. And this is the greatest tragedy of all. Because Capricorn had so much love to give, so much loyalty, so much depth. But you didn't want to, and now it's too late. So that's the truth about Capricorn. They don't disappear because they are cold. They disappear because it hurt too much to stay. Because every empty word was a stab wound. Every broken promise was another stone on the mountain they carry alone. And there comes a point when the mountain becomes too heavy. Then they let go. Not the mountain. Never the mountain. They'll let you go. And they continue. Alone. As they always have been. As they always will be. Because Capricorn has learned that the safest love is self-love. The only person who will never abandon you is yourself. And if that sounds sad, it's because it is. But it's also powerful. Because Capricorns don't need you to survive. They've learned to be their own light, their own fortress, their own home. And perhaps that's the saddest thing of all. They learn to live without love. And they convince themselves that it's better that way. But here is the hope. If you're a Capricorn, you're not alone in this pain. Thousands of people are feeling exactly what you're feeling. And it's okay to want to protect yourself. It's okay to choose the peace of solitude. But beware, you deserve to be loved the way you love others, deeply, loyally, eternally. And if you love a Capricorn, pay attention, see the signs. Appreciate the mountain before it disappears forever. Because when Capricorn disappears, there's no going back. Now tell me, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever felt this silent pain inside? Leave a comment. Share your story. Because maybe, just maybe, someone here needs to hear that you're not alone. And if this video touched you, share this with someone who needs to understand. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Because here we understand each other. Here we see each other. Until the next video. And remember, you are the mountain. And mountains don't fall.